fuck.
We did not clap at the same time. That's okay.
That's okay.
Girl.
Should probably,
Yep.
probably making all kinds of noises.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Grace.
I'm Ella.
And this is our podcast.
The
Joe
Goblins
Rogan
are speaking.
Experience.
Got me.
And today we're going to be talking about episodes 8 and 9 of Succession. Our triple feature, aka our attendance at the Cannes Film Festival. And anything else? Nope.
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 Nope. Okay.
Nope.
That's what I was. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So, Succession. Let me get my notes, which are right there.
America decides.
America
And
decides the election, which really
I'm gonna
gives
look
me...
up what the other one was called really quick.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So, this episode obviously was sort of inspired by a few American elections, such as the Donald Trump election in 2016.
Prenuptial.
Prenuptial.
Nice.
Interesting.
That was.
I wonder why. Because...
Wait. Who's nupshing? Nupshing. Wait.
What does that mean?
This might be like season 1. I just looked up episode 9.
That is season 1.
So that's amazing.
So I was gonna say that's
yep.
a wedding episode.
Church and state.
Church and state, right.
That eats. Okay.
That makes sense.
That eats.
So the episode 8 really gave me flashbacks to 2016 when I had a severe fever. And I went downstairs at 3 a.m. and I was like, Tom, who won the election? And he was like, Trump did. And I just like said nothing. And then I just like went back to sleep and I was like, well, I'll wake up and this will be fake. And then it wasn't.
I remember I watched the election at Eden's house with Eden and Eileen, and we went home before it ended, and I woke up and my mom like woke me up the next morning, and I was like, did he win? And she was like, he won. And then I remember I was like in school, or I was walking to school and someone like drove by blasting Born in the USA, and I was like, that's literally not even pro-America.
I love that.
Yeah.
Things I liked about this episode.
Everything,
because it was
everything
so
was
good.
like my favorite episode.
How misogyny-core it was. Yeah, I just feel like in comparison to certain shows like the Gossip Girl reboot or like The Bold Type, which are some of our other favorite shows.
Yeah, watch what you say.
Yeah, those shows kind of go about things like misogyny or like progressive issues as like, that old white man over there called me a bitch and told me to get in the kitchen. We hate him. Whereas in this show, it's like people that you've liked and sort of like watched develop throughout the show are like committing these heinous acts, and you're just like, ooh, I don't know. Because you're obviously like morally like, oh, they're the bad guys, they're like fascists, but you are also like,
no, they're my friends.
They're my friends.
That's my good friend Kendall Roy.
Yeah, my good friends.
Well, yeah, and I also think what we were talking about with Hannah about like the previous episode, or I think it was the previous one.
Yeah.
About how it's like when you reach a certain place of power, there aren't like sides, and like I think like that was really clear, like especially when Roman was like, it's a night of good TV show, nothing happened, and Shiv was like, things do happen. Like, yeah. I thought that really hit the nail on the head of that, like, to them, things don't happen.
And I think her, like, saying things do happen, Rome, sort of felt like foreshadowing for her, like, trying to take them down, trying to take Rome down, especially because this whole episode sort of had a theme of, like, the American empires, like, burning and, like, getting destroyed and blah blah blah, and Rome, like the Roman Empire. Rome is burning. And I think that has to like probably tie in somehow. And also the phone call that Shiv has with Mattson at the end where she's like, let's take them down, like blah 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 blah. And yeah, I'm very excited to see if she actually does that or not. Usually Shiv kind of like flops and like doesn't
And she also has like one episode.
She does only have one
to
episode.
do it. They all have one episode to get it all.
I don't know how they're gonna.
I don't think a lot. Well, like, yeah, I don't think a lot's gonna get.
Yeah, I don't think Shiv's baby is gonna be born in the next episode, unfortunately.
I don't think so.
Unless they do a 20-year time leap, which
I think they should. I think they should, and they must.
Yeah, I just think like they did the misogyny in these like heartbreaking little subtle ways, like Roman mocking Shiv or Tom ignoring her when she was like, no, let's not call it for Mencken. He literally like wasn't even looking at her and was just looking at Kendall. Yeah, it was a really good episode. I really wanted it.
So good. And just, like, the way that the media literally called the election.
Yeah.
Because then I also just thought, like, I listened to the to the follow-up, the HBO podcast this week, because I was just really all in on this episode. And, like, I just think it was so creative the way that they did it, like, with a polling place being burned.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's just not, that specific thing has not happened, and it's like, well, what happens in that situation? And, like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, the press, like, can't call an election, and, like, that's true, like, they didn't, like, he hasn't been...
Yeah, he's gonna go through these court proceedings and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, but it's, like, they still have such a control, even if, not over the, like, actual results, but definitely in public opinion, like, to say, oh, we can't do that, well, we just did. Yeah, I think
they're crazy.
It's crazy. It's all craziness. But no, and just like seeing, well, because I was texting Grace the whole time, and I was like, I don't know what's going on in this episode. Like, I really never do in Succession because often I don't, because it's so just like face shots. And it's kind of hard. Just, like, the way it's, like, hard to have a sense of, like, their wealth and their power. Like, it's literally hard to have a sense of where they are on planet Earth. And, like, how high up are you? Like, what building are you in? How close are you to everyone else? And seeing them, like, walk from, like, room to room and realizing they were all connected. Like, I was like, damn, this really is, like, a conglomerate. Like, this is a fucking, monopoly. I don't think that's, like, technically businessly correct. But, like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like... Seeing the room with all the computers and then realizing that's like where they shoot the news. Crazy that was just
because I didn't like put that.
That together. That was like developing object permanence. It was crazy.
Same.
It was.
I felt like a baby playing peekaboo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting. Like, it's all connected and they have power over everything. They just reign.
They reign. Rain on me. 3 years of that song.
I also feel like it did a good job pointing out the, like, mind-numbingly ridiculous system that is the Electoral College, because those 200 people in Wisconsin have more power when they vote than, like, anyone who's ever lived in a big city or on the coast or anything, because of how our elections work. And it was funny to, like, see that in motion, like, how influential those votes were. Like, they really were, like, the tiebreaker for the 172 points I think you need, or 272, one of those, or 270, I don't, you know what I mean, the amount of points you need were completely decided by Milwaukee, which is just so ridiculous that, like, one little place in the country has that much sway over an election, because we don't want to do popular vote for some reason.
Yeah. And it's also just, like, the way they were like, well, we know what the votes were. We know they were Democrats. And they're like, well, we don't. And I was like, oh my God, this is so real. Like, this is so, like, this would and could happen.
Yeah, because even through the episode, you're like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what to do. I was like,
damn.
I mean, obviously, like, we want to wait to count the votes, but also there's...
Sorry.
There's also no way to do that at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think this was just... I said this before we cut off, right? About how... I don't really know. We've already recorded some, so I'm not quite sure what I've said or haven't said. But, like, the way that, like, this is a really good episode of, like, being, like, these people suck. Like, like, and, like, really... I don't know. Like, this was kind of the one that... brought me, like, right back to square one with, like, these characters who I've, like, gained so much, like, trust and, like, understanding for. And I think it does a really, like, Succession's one of those shows that does a really good job where, like, understanding a character doesn't make you like them. Like, it does, like, not like, or dislike, but it's, like, I feel like I'm as close to them with this episode. Like, I see them as clearly as I could. I understand them, and I'm like, fuck you guys, you're the fucking worst. And I think that's really impressive to be able to be like, no, I know these people and I fucking hate them. But it also, like, did definitely, like, I was like my good friend Kendall Roy, and then I was like, oh no, like, you guys are, like, evil, like, you are, yeah, you're fascists. Yeah. But and I also think, like, with like what we were talking about with the last episode, how it's like, yeah, when you have a certain amount of money and a certain amount of power, like, it's not politics, like, it's not about, like, politics, it's about power and nothing else, but it also is about a lot more than power, and I don't know, I think that's, like, funny, because I'm always like, well, it's just about money, it's just about power, but it's not, because we're past the point of money, like, it's actually about love, and it's about, like, their, like, childhood trauma, and, like, being, like, damaged your entire life, and, like, not knowing what to do with yourself, and then just continuing that cycle, and I'm like, so no, it has actually nothing to do with money, and I think that this was just such a good, like, case study of, like, all of them at their, like, their core, and just, like, exposing them in all their complexities, and still making you be like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, very true.
But great episode. I love when people talk. I love an episode of people talking for, like, there's that one tweet that's like, this is the best moment of American television, and it's like, and it's like the moment in question, and it's like Kendall standing in a room, like, next to Shiv.
Yeah, but it really is.
But it is, no. I love people talking.
Yeah. Let me check my notes again.
And I like, didn't realize, like, how big of a deal the election was this season, and, like, how much they were going to devote to that, and, like, I always, like, wonder, like, what are they going to focus on, and, yeah, I really like that they made, like, a whole episode about election night.
Yeah.
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 And I love, Colin, oops. Connor, yeah, I loved his speech. I loved his speech, and love isn't the right word, but, Menken's speech was so scary, and, like, so well written, and, like, yeah, I thought both of their speeches, I thought those were great moments in the episode, and the fact that Connor was, like, I mean, each one of them, like, had a moment where they did what was in their best interest. I mean, that was, like, the entire, like, episode was...
That scared me.
That really scared me. Skinamarink!
Cool. Okay, we're back. Sorry for the change in camera quality or whatever. And angle, probably. Yeah, we're clearly in the trenches.
I hope you had a nice lunch.
Yeah, I hope you did, too. I hope you had a good intermission. So then, I feel like that's a good segue to the next episode, which was Church and State, aka the funeral episode, because state. Because this is the state.
That was the state, and now this is the church.
And this is church.
Take me to church, I worship like a dog. Yeah.
No, keep going.
At the shrine of their lies, I'll tell you my sins so you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death, and good God, let me give you my life.
Wow.
Yeah, I love when they sang that.
Me too. That was the best part.
Yeah, oh my God.
When he was, like, walking down the aisle. Okay, but can we talk about the music that played when he was being carried in his tomb?
Oh, yeah.
The, like, that was, like, so, like, joyous, and I was like,
I know, it was giving Pomp and Circumstance a little bit.
It was a little.
Which is one of my favorite songs.
Really?
I think it's a great song.
Okay.
I think it's a great tune. It always makes, because I love Graduations.
Yeah.
But I love that song. Anyways, yeah, that was, all the music in this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
This episode was a good contrast to the episode before, because the episode before is like, look at these dirty, disgusting fascists who rule the world and we hate them. And then the next episode was like, wow, like, Roman crying.
He's crying.
He's crying, though.
Which, like, wow.
Yeah. And Ewan's speech ate so fucking
literally,
hard.
Oh my God, the walls literally crumbled and fell down. People died. People died in addition.
People were dead and
people were dead, and they came back to life, and then they died again.
Yeah.
Like, it was, wow.
I just love Ewan because I just think he's such a cool character.
Keeps it real, and he's, like, the only one that does.
That's true.
Because he has nothing.
Which, obviously, like, a lot of it is probably out of spite for Logan, but it's still, like, so interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
What I was gonna say. Oh, yeah. So the family structure of Logan's family is interesting because it's two boys, Ewan, Logan, and then Rose. And then it's Kendall, Roman, and Shiv, and then obviously Connor, but, like, he's never counted as, like, a main Roy child. So I think it's interesting how their family structures, like, exactly, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people always think that, not that this, like, is, like, legit, because, like, the beginning isn't supposed to, like, the opening is supposed to be literal, but, like, a lot of people are like, that's, like, it's ambiguous because it could be, like, Logan as a kid.
No.
I'm not saying
no,
that's
I know,
true,
but you're saying that.
I'm saying that's, like, people are like, well,
Yeah.
like, that, like, it's mirroring, which, I mean, I guess there's some truth, because it isn't supposed to be taken literally, so you could kind of be like, oh, that's just, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, also this episode had the whole, the poison drips through line where, you know, we think about how, like, cyclical parental trauma and stuff, how, Logan was abused and then he went on to basically abuse his kids and treat women horribly and all that stuff. And I just think it's interesting that the brunt of his abuse goes towards Roman, who is also the one who's the most loyal to him, because of his whole theory about, like, kicking dogs to see them come back. That's, like, what he does to Roman completely. And it seems like Logan was probably the brunt of most of the abuse of his uncle and aunt, because he supposedly, like, killed Rose, which obviously he didn't do, but that is just such an interesting and, like, heavy thing that he, like, carried with him, and it explains his character so well, because he's, like, such a horrible man, but you can see, like, why he is a horrible man, and it's not making excuses for him at all, but it is, like, explaining, like, how things happen. And then we also see how Kendall is so crazy, just like Logan is, when he tries to stop Rava's car and he tries to stop Rava from leaving the city, which was a really fascinating and, like, heartbreaking scene, because Kendall's, like, at his lowest point and he wants to see his kids, but at the same time you have the context of the episode before. He literally changes the election outcome, which he knows is gonna hurt Sophie, because Rava the whole time is like, this is gonna hurt Sophie if Mencken wins, like, she's a victim of racism, blah blah blah, and Kendall still chooses for Mencken to win.
Only to, like, spite Shiv.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
It's crazy. And that you can see that it already has an effect, because there's, like, the threats of terrorism and the riots and all that in New York City, so that's why Rava takes the kids away. And that was just such, like, a dramatic, like, climax to that whole plot of, like, Sophie being the victim of this stuff. Like, it really comes to a head here. I mean, maybe it'll be pushed like forward next episode more. But I think that was, like, a huge wake-up call for Kendall, but of course he's not taking it as a wake-up call. He's taking it as, like, oh, Rava's trying to attack me and take my kids away, so I need to, like, gain custody of my kids, which is so insane.
That's insane that he's trying to get custody of them.
Yeah.
That's, wow.
And then Jess quit, which is a big loss for Kendall, but obviously she didn't want to do it that day, but Kendall pushed her to do it, and then he was like, wow, great, Dave, to tell me this, and she's like, I literally try not to, but we still see her helping Kendall in the end, like, at the end of the episode. And I think, again, this whole episode is kind of misogyny core, because Shiv has the whole line about how Logan couldn't fit a whole woman in his head.
Oh my god. With all his girlies, like, lined up.
And then you see Jerry later sitting at a table with all of them, which confirms that, like, Jerry and Logan sort of had a relationship, because that's been hinted at in the past, too. And Kendall, so we have this whole background about, like, Logan's misogyny, and in the beginning, like, the first few scenes are Kendall, like, treating the women around him horribly and basically, like, cutting ties with them. And he's already, like, Jerry has been fired, and Kendall's taking Hugo on and is gonna uplift Hugo probably in the, like, publicity sphere, so, like, Carolina will probably have a minimized role. He did the whole thing to spite Shiv, and he's really mad at Shiv, and he called the election that will hurt his daughter and, like, hurt Rava, and Jess quit. Like,
yeah,
it's just a whole lot of, like, Kendall turning into Logan.
Yeah. I thought the Roman crying scene really stuck with me, because the last, like you said, like, the whole last episode was like, let's turn him into a monster and then let's humanize him. And I think it's interesting because those two things are very not mutually exclusive. And I think that's like the whole thing of the show is that like you are human and you are evil. And watch the microphone.
I know.
Okay.
I have to plug it in.
She's plugging that in. I thought that scene was because the thing about Roman is he's very suave in his day-to-day interactions. Like he's a charm to him because he's very hardened. He's like taken so much abuse, like uniquely more than the other two siblings, and I think it's maybe, I don't know, you can't really say worse or less, but he's not well adjusted. He is not a well man, and that's for damn sure. And I think so, like his entire persona is him repressing every single thing that's ever happened to him and making himself out to like not necessarily be someone who can take it but who can like join in the laughter. Like he obviously like enjoys being humiliated and he likes taking part in his own humiliation and then as a result humiliating others. Like I think he finds a lot of joy in putting down others, and a lot of times when he gets hurt he goes around and he does like hurt someone else, and not even in like a really like profound way. Like he'll literally just like start like punching someone or like just, like, calling I don't know, like, being, like, misogynistic or, like, homophobic. And, like, it's just, like, really interesting to see the way that he internalizes, like, pain inflicted upon him and, like, shame. And instead of even, like, at all, like, acknowledging that, it just becomes he, one, enjoys being the punching bag, and he does it proudly, and then he just, like, transmutes it right back out. And so him breaking down was obviously a very big moment for his character, and like I was saying, like he's very smooth talking day to day, but you never actually really see him like on stage. Like that's like Kendall is like a very charismatic speaker. You don't see Roman doing that. So I was like right off the bat I was like, can this man even like talk to a crowd? Like can he have any like audience presence? And like no, we saw that in this situation, no, he couldn't do it, and he broke down, and I thought that was just, like, for the first moment, he is making a fool of himself and not enjoying it at all. Like, that was I think everyone can agree, like, that was very painful and difficult to watch, and if something's painful because Roman's in it, it's because of what he's doing. It's almost not necessarily what's being done to him, or it's his inability to, like, acknowledge what's being done to him. And, like, I think that was so painful because it's, like, just something we just do not see that side of Roman where he just can't take it and, like, literally doesn't know what to do with himself and just completely breaks. And I thought that was really interesting, with especially the ending. Like, I think those are the two scenes that stuck out to me the most, are him breaking down at the funeral and then him entering the crowd at the end, and you can see him willingly, like, wanting to get physically, like, and, like, emotionally, like, berated by the crowd, and, like, that's where that's how he deals with his pain, is to just go seek more and just keep getting, like, hit after hit. Like, he just, like, is so, like, abuse is just, like, so common to him that, like, he like, seeks it out to soothe himself, and, like, wow.
Yeah. Because, like, Logan's missing now, so he doesn't have that abusive figure, but he still feels the need to continue to be abused, so he just, like, enacts it on himself, which is really
Yeah, and, like,
crazy.
The way, like, he couldn't go inside the tomb, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, was very, like, clearly, like, uncomfortable, like, more than the others, and, like, just, like, his, like, body language, it's so, oh my god, it's so impressive, like, his, like, physical acting, and, like, the way, like, he acted around the coffin, he was like, is he in there, get it out, like, oh my god, like, wow, that
was crazy.
And I fucking hate the man.
Yeah. So there's Ewan's speech, which I loved how he just went up there and like no one was stopping
Fuck's
him.
given none.
I mean, people were trying to stop him.
Yeah, they
He
were
was
like,
just
what can
"I
I
don't give a
do?
fuck." And I was like, oh, let him cook. Because
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be good, and it was. He
And it
delivered.
was.
And then Kendall went up to do the other side, and his speech was really like Jeremy Strong, wordy type
It was fine.
beat, but it was good.
Yeah.
And then Shiv's eulogy was really good, pointing out the misogyny. And then we go to the reception or the burial and
The $5 million mausoleum.
yeah,
Which isn't even that much. To me, I was like, I thought it
really.
like, well, I mean, that's the thing, is my perception of, like, how much money they have is so warped. Because obviously, I'm not getting a $5 million mausoleum unless things go very differently in my life. But I was like, honestly, they could have been like, yeah, that was like 20 million. I would have been like, eh. I just don't know how much things are at a certain point. I'm like, I don't know what, like, the patriarch of ATN, like, gets as a burial. It is it's a lifetime. I forget what they said. They said something fun. Like, place of residence, yeah. But yeah, that just little.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. Like, that's a lot of money. But I don't even know what is a lot of money at this point for them. Nothing is.
True. What other notable things happened? Oh, the whole Hugo, like, woof woof thing, that was funny. I like that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
And
I like when I laugh.
yeah.
I like to laugh. I love to
laugh.
they do a good job. Did we talk about all his girls lined up? When it was like, Marsha, Caroline, Carrie, Caroline, Carolina, or not Carolina,
Jerry.
Caroline's friend.
Oh.
When they were at the pew.
Oh, yeah. Not Sally Ann. I don't remember her name. Yeah. That was funny. And they seemed to have solidarity with each other, which was cute. Like, Marsha held Carrie's hand or something. I feel so bad for Carrie.
I know.
Yeah. And she was scared she wasn't gonna get let in, and she brought her brother and blah, blah, blah. And it was just so sad. I feel so bad for her. That's all I have to say.
That's kind of all I have to say.
Okay, let's...
2 banger episodes.
Yeah.
Actually, they've all been, like... Yeah, they've been...
Yeah,
this might be my favorite season.
I think this is my favorite season. I think it's the best one.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's talk about our triple feature of...
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot.
Boonie Bears Go to Space.
Boo.
I've Peter and Wendy, and then... What was that?
I don't even remember. Oh, Elvis. Well, we've already talked about that. We've exhausted.
But we can.
But I have more.
Reiterate.
The thing is, I don't have. Nothing's really changed.
Yeah, true. So we watched Boonie Bears Go to Space, which if you haven't seen it, run to Hulu right now. So me and Ryan had come across it because we looked at like the trending.
It's trending. Who?
It was like number.
Who made that trend?
It was like number 3 in the world or something.
You're kidding.
Because it's a Chinese animated kids movie, and it's dubbed in English, so the talking was really off, and the voice actors were making some choices. It's similar to Space Chimps, which is another...
Never seen that.
Wait, you weren't there for that?
No.
Oh, okay, well that was another moment.
Oh, I thought you were acting like that was like a childhood movie that like everyone's seen. That
No.
was like gaslighting McQueen, because no.
No, that was another me and Ryan moment where we like turned on some random ass animated movie that's really bad and weird and like weirdly animated.
Was it like weird?
Was that like what?
It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Okay.
Was that like you calling me out for saying weird so much?
No, I meant like, was it like weird? Was it like fetishy?
No.
Okay, because like that's what you made it sound like, and I was like, I have like so much to say about.
Like what?
Just like the way that like, I don't want to sound like so QAnon, but like the way that like a lot of animated things like put like fetish content, because there's such a big difference between like a sexual innuendo that like a parent's gonna get and like fetish content, and it's like, ugh.
Does that happen in animated?
Yeah.
Well, Totally Spies, I know, is one.
Yeah.
And
But
What other?
I don't know.
Okay.
But like that made it sound like that's what you were saying. But
no, I meant like it's just
like
the
weird.
same type of weird, the exact same type of weird. And a monkey goes to space. In Boonie Bears, the bear goes to space. In Space Chimps, the chimp goes to space. Which we can't talk about chimpanzees.
Oh yeah, you're right. We can't do that.
Yeah, Boonie Bears goes to space. So we didn't watch all of it, but there was a bear in a forest with his brother, I think, and a human too. It's really unclear. And then a cube hits him in the middle of the night, or not in the middle of the night. Cube hits him in the head, the bear.
Oh.
And a cat comes out of it, and the bear gets powers, and he can like see things, and he knows the square root of pi. And the cat comes out, and the cat has 6 ears, which means that it's an alien, of course. And they're trying to find the ship, and we didn't get to that part, so, I mean, maybe they never found the ship. Yeah.
I hated it.
It was really scary. No, I don't care.
Okay, I don't want you to get carpal tunnel.
Okay, I won't. I'm too strong for that.
Okay.
And then the next
I hated
movie
it.
we
I really
watched
didn't like it.
was Elvis.
No, that was third.
Elvis was second, and we watched Peter and Wendy. Elvis, so...
It was even better the second time.
Oh, yeah. We watched it an hour in, which means that we didn't get to the part where it starts feeling like you're watching a movie yet. We were still... We watched the trailer.
We watched the prologue.
We watched the prologue / like, random
We watched the, like, when you're watching an episode, like, the what you missed last week.
Yeah, that's...
Like, here's what you missed on Glee.
Why do they go at it... Okay, it's also insane that they jump time so much for why? Like, why did they do that? They go from 1977 to, like, 1973 to, like, 1954 to 1955 to 1960 to 19... Like,
and they hit, like, every animation style, and they didn't even need to hit one. It could have all been live action for, like... And they were like, let's do comic, like, let's do, like, stop motion... And let's write where we are in huge block letters and
that like I don't.
But I was kind of okay. I was kind of down. I was like, well, you know what? Now I know where we are.
I don't mind all the like goofy stylistic choices because I do think like a lot of goofy stuff is fun, but for this movie,
I mean, they also made all of the choices. They made every choice. They didn't make choices.
Yeah.
They said yeah.
And I am gonna be a hater, but like the Austin Butler Oscar campaign was crazy to me because everyone and their mother was freaking out about how amazing Elvis was portrayed by Austin Butler and how Austin Butler deserved the Oscar, or how they thought he was going to get best actor because of just how incredible Elvis was.
Did people think that though, or was it like someone said that and everyone was just reacting to that they didn't agree with that?
No, literally everyone was like, oh, Austin Butler for Elvis is going to win. Like, almost everyone who predicted.
But was it like he's going to win and that sucks? Or like he's going to win and he deserves that?
It was mostly he's going to win and he deserves that.
Damn.
And that's blood boiling to me because he had maybe 2 lines and they sound exactly the same. Every line that he says is the same. And that's not me hating on Austin Butler's acting skills. I'm sure he's a great actor. But Elvis is not a role that you should win Best Actor for because everyone and their mother has an Elvis impression, okay?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's like, I don't find it as impressive to just like be able to act as a person who already exists. Because if you're an actor, you just like study.
You just watch
study it
videos
and you portray it.
Yeah. It just like, he also just didn't feel real the whole time. Like, none of the characters felt real. I didn't feel connected to any of the characters, and I didn't care about what happened to any of the characters at all. Not an ounce of me was like, oh my god, Elvis! I was just like, there's Austin Butler using that accent and like wearing his hair like that.
Looking sexy as fuck.
Waist on fuck Colonel Tom Parker.
Fuck Colonel Tom Park.
Tom
Parker.
Colonel
I will never know what
Tom
his name
Sanders.
is. Colonel Tom Hanks.
Colonel Tom
to
Hanks.
me.
I
really have literally like nothing to say about this movie positively other than my thoughts on Elvis Butler, and I can't get into those. So,
that he's a lesbian.
Yeah. I feel like I've already gotten into it too many times, and like everyone and their mother has actually heard me talk about it so much, and I don't think I at this moment in time, I'm not in a I think maybe give me a few years down the line and something like artistically beautiful is gonna come of this, but
Sure.
I'm still forming these opinions. I'm working through these thoughts.
Right. Good. That's all you can do.
That's all I can do at this moment.
I also just think the movie is really interesting in how it tackles race. I think it's really funny and, like, one-dimensional, the way that they, like, tackle, and they're just like, oh yeah, Elvis was, like, an anti-racist hero. And I was like, was he? Was he, like, and was every black person just rooting for him and loving him and living for him? Like,
Yeah, when
you
they made the little
really-
tiny, like, the 8-year-old white boy, like, the center of, like...
That part was
Their
crazy. The church service where he goes in, and he's literally in the middle of everyone, and he's acting the same way that everyone else in that room acts, but they're, like, putting all their attention on him. Also, he's, like, he grows up in a segregated neighborhood for some reason, like, in the black neighborhood.
In the actual
But
Wild
in the
West.
Wild West.
Like, where is it?
It's in Louisiana.
In Louisiana, in the Wild West, though.
And it looks like a fucking ghost town. Like, so, like, it looks like
It looks like Disney Wild West.
It's so
I mean, that's like
stupid.
basically what it
The
is.
production design pisses me off because why did they film that in Australia? Or New Zealand? Why'd they do that? You don't have to do that. Because why are you going to hire, like, 18 different American actors and then make them come to New Zealand to film a movie about an American man who changed the cultural landscape of America and lived in America and has a theme park in America, or a theme park or whatever Graceland is. It's not a theme. Graceland? Okay, girl. If you don't know what that is, I can't help you.
Not familiar.
So that's
I know
Elvis's
about
house,
Coney Island.
and it's a big thing that
I'm
it's
not
like a
familiar.
tourist
I'm not familiar with the man.
Okay,
Like in any way,
it's
shape, or
fine.
form. And I'm actually this movie made me less familiar.
Honestly, yeah.
I feel like a stranger.
The movie like makes you feel so far away from him, which you could argue they're trying to like.
I don't think
make
they
Elvis. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't think I'm gonna play devil's advocate for this, but I do kind of want to understand why so many people love this movie.
No, yeah, I wish I could see it from their eyes, but maybe sometimes they might just be like dumb.
Maybe they just don't think about things.
Sometimes people are just. Well, I was talking to someone who loved the movie.
Who?
This guy I work with,
Okay.
and he didn't like Everything Ever All at Once. And so I was kind of like, that's kind of like all I need to know in a way, because it's like, I don't think you like have to like a movie, but when you like Elvis and you don't like Everything Ever All at Once, like it's the combination of those two opinions that got me. But he was like, I was like, why'd you like it? And he goes, it's fucking Elvis. And I was like, alright, that's all I need to know.
Stupid.
So it's fucking Elvis. So yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like this movie should have done a better job, like, introducing the generation that doesn't really care about Elvis into caring about Elvis, and it didn't do that for me. And I had no dismay for Elvis. I had respect for the man, I guess, as, you know, a human being and as an artist, but then the movie kind of made me not care about him at all. Which it should be the opposite. It should make you care more. It should be more, and I'm a person who's very deeply moved by movies. Like, I very much get in the headspace of the characters. I very much empathize with people. I very much, and when I'm in a movie, I'm like in it. Like, I'm very fully immersed with movies emotionally, and this movie didn't move me
I was
at all.
immersed in a hellish way. Nightmarish way.
I was immersed.
It was just so much stimulation.
Yeah. And again, like, yeah, that's Elvis's whole thing. Like, he's a very larger-than-life man, but then why do you make a movie why are you just, like, giving the presentation of him that we already have?
Yeah.
That we already know. It didn't make sense to
They
me.
could have done, like, a raw, stripped-down take on Elvis, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And they could
Or-
and I could have done that. They should have called me up.
Literally. I could have done this movie better.
I could have done this movie better.
But enough about that. Let's move on to Peter and Wendy. Another live-action Disney remake for no fucking reason that sucked ass.
It was like so much worse than I like thought it would be.
It's hideous.
It's like it's so I like forgive me if I'm wrong. It's so easy to make a decent movie. Just do it
for the kids, especially.
Because it's been done so many times. Just watch one that's good and then do it, but put your own spin on it. Oh my god, call me up next time.
And it's a remake. Like, you have
the money to like.
You're Disney.
Like, it's never a budget problem, which pisses me off because it's like. Every movie, like any Disney movie, the way it looks is the way they want it to look. Like, it's not an issue of like, ooh, we have a vision that we can't realize. I'm like, just make it look better.
And it's
Oh my god.
It was giving earth tones.
Yeah, why
for
was
some reason.
Neverland Earth Tone?
Why was it Scotland?
Why was it
another issue
Scotland?
with that?
Why was it literally like seasonal depression personified as an
Why
island?
wasn't Banshees of Inisherin?
Literally.
Like, why was I watching that? And I love
so
Banshees
bad.
of Inisherin, but that's because Banshees of Inisherin is supposed to be like, look how depressing this land, this lifestyle is. And then Peter and Wendy, like, you're going to Neverland and it's supposed to be like gorgeous and amazing and beautiful, and it's just a rock with some grass on it. And yes, that is beautiful in a certain way, but not in the
Neverland way.
Not in the kids would find this like so sick way. I don't know.
No, yeah, it
You know what I
pisses me off because it's like, I mean, like, the only reason they're doing these remakes is for money, but I'm like, that's just like so depressing to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, damn, like literally all of the artistry sucked. Like, I was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was so optimistic to be like, maybe a little bit of it was there, but like, just no.
And Yara Shahidi's Tinkerbell was something that...
It was a series of choices.
And not her fault, I guess, right?
I don't know.
Okay. It's just, animated movies don't need to be live action.
Let's keep them animated.
They look bad when they're live action. Or not bad, but there are certain things that you can put in animation that don't translate to live action.
Yeah, they just don't translate.
Such as Tinkerbell.
And
watching a grown-ass woman wearing a Tinkerbell costume and going like, was fucking awkward as hell. Why are you doing that?
And if they're gonna do it live action, go live action. Take it a whole different route. Don't try and like happy medium it. Like, I don't know, make it like, I don't even know how you could do it in a different way because like it hasn't really been done, but like, especially with like the Little Mermaid, like making Flounder like a fish. I don't know. Like, it just like, I feel like if you're gonna do live action, you have to do something different, or just don't do live action. Just don't do it. Period.
Just don't do it. It's stupid. And it's bad.
I'm trying to think of if any have like been okay. Like any live action.
I think Beauty and the Beast was good. I think maybe Cinderella was good.
I didn't even know there was a Cinderella live action.
Well, that's like an older, well, not old, but like, it's not.
I liked Alice in Wonderland when I saw it.
I did too, but
I was also
bad.
10, so yeah. Like.
Yeah. See, because I'm sure it's good for kids, but it could be better for kids.
It could be better for kids.
It could be more colorful. It could be more entertaining. It could be better production design. Kids deserve to, like, consume good art, too.
As Grimes said, and she spilled, she was talking about, like, kids' music, and she was like, this is, like, stop acting like our kids, like, can't, like, comprehend, like...
Yeah, because do you want them to grow up and, like, not appreciate good art? Or do you want them to grow up and just be stupid and, like, money... grabbing movies? I mean, Disney wants that, of course. But as a society?
Think about it.
Think about it.
Think about that.
Let me leave you with that. Put on Fantastic Mr. Fox for your kids.
That was my favorite movie when I was a kid.
It's so good.
So it's, yeah, the kids can understand. They can appreciate good art.
Yeah.
I knew. I had taste.
I know, right?
I was like, yep. This is a good movie.
Okay, well, on to our next... Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, also, but before we get to that, Captain Hook, why did they make Jude Law one of the most attractive men in America? Well, he's actually British, but why did they put him in that bunk-ass wig where he had, like, oh, I can't even, it's an atrocity. Like, I don't know why they did that. Also, the person who played Smee didn't Smee it up enough for me. As a person who has played Smee in a theater production of Peter Pan, I wasn't respecting that person's acting choices. It wasn't giving nervous and comedy. It was just kind of
giving nothing.
It was giving nothing.
And I don't even really know. I'm not familiar with the band like that, and I could even tell. I was like,
yeah, it was nothing. But moving on to a movie that was actually good.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Nope.
No.
Nope. No.
So this movie had everything.
This is like literally one of my favorite
changed
movies.
my life.
I watched it in theaters when it came out, which was crazy. I've never seen any other Jordan Peele movies, which is a travesty. It's actually like, it's a national travesty because I realized I don't know if they all came out during the summer, but Get Out did, I believe, and I think I was at camp when it came out because that I definitely would have liked to have seen in theaters. And then I just, like, never got around to it. So I hadn't seen any of his other movies. And then I saw, like, the trailer for Nope when I don't even know what my mom and I were seeing. We were seeing another movie, and we saw the trailer, and we were like, ooh, that looks good. as we saw it, what was really funny was we went with, it was like my whole family went, and my sister like famously does not like horror movies, and she got in her head that we were seeing Where the Crawdads Sing. Nobody ever said that to her. I really cannot even imagine like where that thought came from. And we were watching the trailers and they were all horror movies, and she like leaned over to my mom and she was like, "Why are these all horror movies?" My mom was like, "Well, we're kind of like seeing a horror movie," and she was not happy about that. But she wasn't even like scared, because it's kind of like, I feel like it is one of those movies that like people who don't like horror movies, Nope isn't what they don't like. I feel like it tends to be people who don't like jump scares are like the people who don't like horror movies, which is, I guess, her vibe. Because she was like, well, it wasn't even scary, which is a whole other conversation of like I wasn't even scared. I wasn't even bothered by it. And yeah, I don't have a lot to say on that, but I saw it over the summer, and I was like the only one who really liked it of my family. Like, my mom was like, it was good. Like, I think everyone was just kind of like, it was good. I was like, no, like, that was an amazing movie. Like, that had fucking everything.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again last night.
And that was my first time watching it, and I'm glad that I didn't get anything spoiled for me.
Yeah.
Because it really is such like a thrilling movie.
It is it's so fun to watch it all unfold.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
If you really think about it. Yeah, like it, and I just like, it's like, it was like original.
Yeah.
Sure. It was original. And
he had an original thought.
He had an original thought, and like, that's just like not very often, like, it's, and sometimes I'm like, well, things don't even have to be original because you can't even be original anymore, and then I see something be original. That's also what I liked about Everything Everywhere All at Once. And like, I was like, say whatever you want, but like, it was original. Like, it was different. Like, it's taking, I don't know, it's pushing beyond what we already have in a way, and I thought that was really cool. I thought the plot was like, it was in a way like a plot that we've seen before, but like, not really. I don't know. Like, really. It was wow. And it was all, but while being originally, there were so many like nods and references in it. Cause I don't know off the top of my head, but like, I was like curious about it, because it was like, I feel like there were, and like, it was one of those movies where there was just like so like well done and like tastefully referenced so many things. But yeah, loved that movie.
Really incredible. I loved all the characters. They were so realistic. And, like,
I think that like was
natural.
one of like my favorite, like that. I was gonna say like that sold the movie, but like it really sold itself. But I thought that the acting and the characters were just, they were like phenomenal.
Yeah, Keke Palmer's so good. Daniel Kaluuya is so good. Not to bring it back to Elvis, but I'm actually so mad that like
I'm pissed.
Nope got
no recognition,
Oscar nominations at all, and Elvis got every single one.
It's like sickening. It's actually sickening.
It's actually disgusting.
Because it's like, what?
God is disgusted.
God, yeah.
But yeah, it was just incredible, and I love I forget his name, the host or whatever. The camera guy.
Oh, Proust? Nope. Host?
Is it host?
Host.
They said host at some point. Whatever.
Maybe it's
what
host.
I mean. I just loved his vibes. I loved when he goes,
Antler
roost, purple people eater.
Yeah.
That whole like moment was absolutely
one eye
shaking. Yeah, okay, that's the other thing that like pissed me off when we were watching this movie. We were watching it with our friend Ryan, and at one point we were trying to like do a little movie analysis moment, and he was just like not having it, because there was a point where Daniel's in the truck, and Daniel's not his name, OJ is in the truck, and the like storm isn't happening, and I was like, oh, I get it, because he's like in the eye of the storm, because the eye is right above him. Like, eye of the hurricane, eye of the alien. And he was like, it's not the eye. It's not an eye. It's not an eye. And I was like, okay, but, like, do you get what, like, it may not literally be an eye, but, like, metaphorically, like, it looks like an eye. It's clear. It's called The Viewer. It's, like, it's clearly referencing an eye. And he was like, no, it's a mouth. Or, like, a butthole or whatever. And I was like, it can be a lot of things as an alien, actually. And they don't have
really
the same
know how
anatomy
they
as us.
work. Let's not be presumptuous.
But yeah, the whole eye thing.
Everything just like viewership, the gays, spectatorship, you know, all that such and such.
Hollywood exploitation of animals,
exploitation
and kids and everyone and black people.
Voyeurism, performance,
So good.
sodomy. Probably.
No, I don't know about that one. But
I'm sure there was a lot of sodomistic imagery. I'll give him that. It was giving anus.
Okay, yeah. The part where it, like, rains blood and, like, the house, like, you can see, it's so sickening. I love the way this movie looks. It's so incredible.
Oh my god, like, visually, I love a colorful horror movie. Love a colorful horror movie. I'm just, like, oh my god, like, the plot that they come up with, like, with the blow-up things.
Oh my god.
Like, wow. How do you even... It's just so smart.
And I love
So
horsies.
smart. Yeah, and I love, like, it's, like, such, like, a Cowboys... I feel like it probably is some, like, I'm saying this, like, as the term, like, Cowboys and Indians vibe of, like, the, like, outsider of, like, the, like, Native Americans, even though they're, like, that's the opposite, like, they were there. But it's, like, I feel like a lot of those movies are, like, the Cowboys are, like, they're here, it's their land. Oh, who are these, like, invaders, these, like, Native Americans? And, like, I feel like it had, like, a little bit of play on that, of, like, the alien invader.
True. I didn't think of that. The whole, chimpanzee...
Oh my god.
Moment.
Like, you can't tame a beast.
You can't.
And I thought, it was so, like, his arc, Steven, that's not his name, Jude, Roop, like, was so
What?
tragic. Roop's
Jupe?
Law. Jupe. Yeah,
He's
Jupe.
Jupe. He's Jupe. Okay.
Roop.
RuPaul.
Jupe, yeah, it was RuPaul. Like, his arc was so tragic because, like, he survived because he didn't try. It was interesting he survived because he did look it in the eye.
Yeah.
And he kind of, like, but he also, he did not try to tame the beast, and he was, like, the only one who didn't. Like, you see the other guy being like, no, Gordon, no, don't attack me, and then, like, he dies a second later, but the kid's just, like, there, like, silently, like, he's very accepting of the monkey's nature, and that's, like, what saves him, but then, like, the trauma of that experience is what ended up killing him, because then he becomes, like, instead of understanding, like, you can't tame a beast, then he takes it upon himself to, like, that becomes his life mission, is to, like, make a spectacle out of, like, something that can't be, like,
That can kill him.
And it's also, like, he is also the spectacle of the thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, really interesting the way his trajectory went.
Oh my god. The scene is where they're in the studio is, like, oh my god, that was horrid.
Mm-hmm.
That was so disturbing.
The double feature of that next to, like, the performance. Because it's the scene of the monkey attacking everybody, and then it's, like, the show at Jupe's garage or whatever the fuck. I
don't remember.
Jupe's Landing? I don't know. It could be all of those things.
Yeah. I don't get how people don't find that disturbing or scary on some level.
Yeah. Yeah, it like, no, because I'm like, let me
Because
get
I'm
in
like,
your head and experience this from your perspective. And,
I would love to live in that.
Well, because Ryan was like, well, this isn't a situation I'm in, so it's like, it doesn't really scare me, but I was like,
I would never be in, yeah. But I'm like,
okay. Well, sure. Yeah.
But, like,
I'm
you're
also,
still watching
like,
it.
Yeah, exactly. You're still there while it's happening, and it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm just an empath. But no, like, it's just like,
I guess I just think about
it's just, like, visually, it's just, like, disgusting to watch.
Yeah, and auditorily.
Like, it's just, like, it's something I can't understand. And I know a lot of people that were like, well, I don't get why it's a horror movie, it wasn't scary. And I'm like, just, like, think about it, though. Like, it's scary, and it's disturbing and disgusting and suspenseful. Like, just... I don't know how to help you. I actually don't know how to help you.
You need me to hold your hand through every movie, if you can't.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the traditional horror where there's, like, a scary man in your house that you know is gonna kill you, but it's still, like, something awful is happening.
It's horrifying.
Like, what? There's a chimpanzee, and chimpanzees are supposed to be, like, they're our closest relatives, kind of, and they're supposed to be, like, cute, cuddly animals, and then they can rip you apart at, like, the snap, like, anything.
And it's like,
It's at the pop of a balloon. Like, this shit is crazy. Chimpanzees are really disturbing and scary, and they ripped that woman's face off in real life, and then they had that woman, Mary Jo, in the movie, whose, like, face was distorted from it, which is also terrifying, like, and Jupe's experience with Gordy made him, like, not, I guess, care for animals, so, like, made it easier for him to sacrifice the horses to Jean Jacket. Why is it called Jean Jacket?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I like it.
I'm not sure about. I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
Jean Jacket. Jean Jacket. I don't know.
I don't either.
I'd love to look into that.
It was
all the other names are interesting too, like Lucky, Clover. Well, those are horses' names, but it does kind of seem like it did kind of feel like another horse. The alien did.
I don't feel that way.
I felt that way because Jean Jacket just sounds like a horse name.
Okay, yeah. It's just
And
like
it was interesting the way he was like, "Don't look at the horse in the eye. Don't look at the thing in the eye. Like,
yeah.
just don't. You can't tame a beast.
It's awesome.
You can't tame a beast.
You can't.
And that's the thing.
A predator, yeah. Oh, the digestion scene was also crazy. So gross. So disturbing. That too, like, how are you not
that's
disturbed by
disgusting. That's actually fucking foul. People getting sucked up by a, like, huge alien. First of all, let's talk about how have you ever seen an alien depicted like that?
No.
Nope. And, like, I love they thought it was a ship, but the alien was the ship. Like, I thought it was just, like...
That's so cool.
And, like, the little, like, alien guys that they were selling and, like, the kids dressed up assuming that, like, that's what was inside, but the alien was, like, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the way that it, like, inverts at the end and, like, all the different layers of it. First of all, like, you've never seen an alien look like that, don't lie. So, like, right off the bat, like, that's just, like, awesome. Even just from, like a cinematic, like, structural, just, like, impressive, like, the building of that, because a lot of that was not, a lot of it was CGI, but, like, when the eating scene, like, that was, like, those were real physical things that people were rubbing against, getting sucked up, and, like, don't act like people, like, puking while they're getting, like, digested by this fucking alien,
and
like,
screaming.
isn't disgusting, and squelching,
screams. Like, what?
and women retching, like, I'm sorry. Didn't love that. Didn't love woman retching.
Me neither. Yeah. It was really, 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 really hard to watch. It's, like, suffocating.
And it was, like, it could have so easily been cheesy. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just, like, when I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, okay, sure, there's a way to do that cheesily, and it didn't do it at all.
But the acting of it was, like, so incredible. All the extras. And then when the guy, oh my god, the TMZ guy, that scene was crazy.
And just, like, oh my god, just, like, the electrical field throwing him off the bike, like, that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
That's fucking genius.
And he has a mirror helmet, and OJ's trying to help him, trying to get him up, and he's just like, fuck it. Like, I'm not gonna help you anymore. That was awesome. I love that choice, because I feel like
you're not listening.
In a lot of horror movies, like, someone tries way too hard to, like, help someone who's clearly, like, refusing help, and then they get, like, hurt because of it. And when in a real situation, if you're down to your survival instincts, there's this stranger who's being an asshole to you and isn't listening to you in a dire situation where you both could die, I'm saying 99% of people are gonna abandon them.
Yeah. I love the, like,
doesn't always happen in horror movies.
The, like, just, like, the play on horror movie tropes, too.
Yeah.
Of, like, nope. Like...
Yeah.
They like, the whole
They're like,
point
oh, we're
is,
gonna
like,
leave.
no, we're not going to indulge in the spectacle. We're literally going to look the other way.
Yeah.
And, like, but it also was so interesting because at the same time, it's, like, the whole conversation of, like, there's a we're doing this for good, right? We're not just doing it for the money. Because in the end, they did also want to record the thing, like, to have, like, proof. Like, I think that, like, it's such an interesting, like, look of, like, seeing is believing and, like, needing, like, physical documentation of something to, like, make it exist.
Yeah.
And in the way, like, they did, like, it was, like, they turned Jean Jacket into a spectacle even though they were the most respectful of it. Because there's a lot, there's layers to it.
Yeah, and the guy sacrificing himself to, like, get
the perfect shot,
which
and
was
then they
crazy.
did and Ryan was like, it's not, it literally looks like shit. And,
yeah.
like, the film gets destroyed.
Yeah, I didn't really get that choice.
I guess it was just, like, he was like, the perfect shot is impossible, and then he goes and proves that it is impossible because the only way to get the perfect shot is, like, he's gonna die. And it's just like, yeah, artists be crazy.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And how she figures out, like, the camera, and then how she releases the blue. Like, she was so smart.
They were all, like, so smart in that movie.
Which I love.
Yeah, because they're always, like, clueless. They're like, what? They're like, let's, like, first of all, let's do everything wrong. Like,
let's split up.
Let's, like, go exploring.
Let's say hello when we enter
Yeah, let's
house.
say hello. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
And I like that none of them died.
Oh my god.
Like, thank fucking God. Like, only the people that died were the people you wanted to die, and the people that lived were the people you wanted to live.
Yeah.
Except for the film guy.
For the film guy.
But,
When I was, like, hoping that OJ had survived, because there's a moment where, like, obviously you think he dies, and it's, like, a very prolonged moment, and there's the whole, like,
yeah.
moment between the siblings. Also, the sibling relationship was so good. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm so upset that he died, but, like, I feel like maybe he survived. But I didn't want to say that out loud because I didn't want my hopes to be up, which is, like, so crazy because that never happens to me. I'm always like, I need to be on top of this prediction. I need to be telling everyone, like, what's going on. But this movie was so, like, moving to me, or, like, so immersive to me that I didn't even want to, like, jinx him, like, being alive or not, or, like, get my hopes up, which never happens. But then he was alive at the very end, and it was such a good reveal, and I was so, like, such a good payoff, like, so incredible. So incredible. Jordan Peele is a genius.
Yeah, and I need to see
You
Get
do.
Out on Us.
I think Nope is better than the other two, though.
Really?
Because I think he improves with every movie he makes.
Interesting.
But Get Out was obviously, like, very important for the,
I saw
it was a question for the culture.
Someone on Twitter who I, like, kind of knew, and I unfollowed them for this because I was like, shut the fuck up, was, like, going off. It was Ari Aster, Jordan Peele, and then who made The Lighthouse.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah, whoever, like, and it was, like, ranking their 9 movies, I guess, because I think they've each made 3.
Yeah.
And whoever was, like, going off there, like, Jordan Peele fucking sucks, like, Nope sucks, and then they were like, and Ari Aster, like, you're not that cool either, the only one I'd give you kind of any credit for is Beau is Afraid, and I literally, the unfollow went so fast. I was like, shut, don't talk about, like, don't be wrong. Don't be wrong and loud like that. Like, don't be wrong like that. Pisses me off. Just be right like us.
And I am someone who likes to be a contrarian sometimes.
No, and I agree.
And I like disliking things that are popular. But those things I just, like, they could never make me hate you.
But sometimes things are just good.
Yeah, sometimes things are good for a reason. I mean, things are popular for a reason.
And sometimes Nope is, like, the best movie
And
you've ever
sometimes
seen.
Nope is, like, really incredible and, like, jaw-dropping and disturbing and horrible and great and hilarious and everything. And
It's
aliens and
It's
cowboys.
literally everything ever all at once.
It's Cowboys and Aliens, which are the best movies ever. So, and it's a movie about Hollywood, and it's about cowboys and aliens, and that's just, like,
wow.
that's genius. That's Gene
That's
Jacket.
cinema.
That's cinema. And I also, again, I don't normally like movies about Hollywood or movies about movie making because I'm like, oh, this is so, like, stupid. Like, this is just Hollywood, like, jerking off to itself. But then he handled it so well, and he, like, pointed out, obviously, like, all the flaws we already know about, but, like, in a way that we've never seen. And
Yeah.
the way he's talking about, like, crew members, that's, like, never, ever, ever a thing in movies that are talked about. It's always, if they're gonna make a Hollywood movie about Hollywood, it's gonna be focused on, like, an actor or a director or a writer. It's never gonna be, or maybe a producer, I don't know. It's never, ever gonna be the horse wrangler. But, like, they are just as important as everyone else on the crew, and that's so cool that they're, like, focusing the whole movie on that. And the coin falling from the sky was actually... Okay, something that I do need to mention was that I have had a dream that's almost exactly like this movie, where a rock falls from the sky and embeds in a girl's head, and she, like, doesn't realize it at first, and then she turns around, and then she, like, dies because you, like, see the rock in her head. And it happened in the Wild West, and then I became this girl who had been sent forward in time by aliens and then sent back to the Wild West where I'm originally from, and I was, like, missing for a few weeks, and then me and my friends, like, are gonna fight, like, the aliens, which is interesting because Nope is a lot like that.
You should,
Because
yeah.
there's
You
aliens.
should go
in
talk
Wild
to
West.
Jordan Peele about that.
Okay, I'll talk
You guys
to
could do some magic.
It's kind of the same as like Parasite, how I've had a lot of movies where I break
You've had
into
it-
rich people's houses and then I have to escape while they're there. So
I
I mean,
had
a lot
a-
of people are stealing
I
from
had
me.
a dream that was like a movie, but I forget which one, but it was like literally to a T, like, and I was like, damn, they literally, and I was like, no one's gonna believe me, but like I had it first.
I do think Jordan like hacked into my notes app.
And I was gonna say hacked into your brain.
Hacked in my brain too. I mean,
Which
I
I'd let
bet
him.
he could do it.
No, if he's gonna make note out of what's in here,
That's
like,
fine.
Go
Take
ahead.
it all. Take it all.
Take the
It's
keys.
fine. Take the keys. So that's all I have to say.
That's all I gotta say. We've said that already.
We have, and
And-
then we have a
And
lot
then,
more to
but
say.
sometimes we contradict ourselves, and that's beautiful.
We contain multitudes.
I love to contain multitudes.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Have a nice week.
Bye.
Have a good dinner.
Good dinner.